In this video, we're going to discuss the tool I used to pay off $200,000 of debt in 19 months and how you can use it too. What's up, everyone? Jimmy Turner here from Money Meets Medicine. In this video, we're going to discuss the psychological phenomenon that prevents most people from paying off their debt faster, the rule of thumb we can use to fight against that phenomenon, and the order in which you can use that tool to pay off debt versus invest. But first, I need to introduce you to a man named Denis Diderot. Diderot was a French philosopher and author in the 1700s, best known for his role as a co-founder of an encyclopedia company that was one of the principal works of the Enlightenment. His works encompassed a wide range of topics, including philosophy, literature, art, and science. But this isn't really what Diderot is known for in the personal finance space, because despite all of this, Diderot faced financial problems. That was until 1765 when Catherine the Great, a Russian empress, bought Diderot's personal library, which provided him with much needed financial support and a huge financial windfall. This all sounds well and good, except that Diderot would become synonymous with what you should not do with your money. In fact, when Diderot came into all of this money, he quickly spent it all and he went broke, which is what led Diderot to write about his experience and warn others about the sudden contamination of wealth. This tendency for people to quickly spend any fortune, it would become called the Diderot Effect. He would write about this in an essay called Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown, in which he describes how receiving a luxurious new red dressing gown from Catherine the Great actually led him to replace many of his old possessions and to match them with new items, ultimately resulting in increased spending and his ultimate financial downfall. But Diderot's not alone. This is what leads famous actors, entertainers, and even presidents to lose the fortunes that they accumulate. And it's also the same thing that leads many doctors to live paycheck to paycheck despite earning hundreds of thousands of dollars per year when they experience the sudden accumulation of wealth with their first attending paycheck. With that Diderot effect in full force, this is when doctors buy the cars, the house, the clothes, the private schooling for the kids. And it's only years later that doctors look back and realize they haven't done enough to pay down their debt or to save for financial independence. This might explain why a study by the American Medical Association highlights that while many physicians plan to retire by the age of 65, the actual average retirement age for doctors tends to be closer to 70. This discrepancy comes up for a variety of reasons, but it definitely includes financial constraints and the doctor's desire to maintain their lifestyle and social interactions, which can't happen if you don't save enough money. So what are doctors to do? Enter here the 10% rule, which is the rule I used to help pay off $200,000 in debt in just 19 months after I finished training. The 10% rule recognizes that when we come into sudden wealth, like Diderot, we're going to want to spend it all. Knowing this, we decide to feed that need a little bit while using the lion's share to be financially responsible. So the 10% rule can be applied to that first paycheck that you earn as an attending physician after training, or to any money you come into suddenly, like a quarterly or annual bonus, maybe an inheritance or a signing bonus of some kind. So here's how it works. Let's say your last paycheck in residency results in a $3,500 post-tax take-home pay that hits your checking account each month. And let's say that your first paycheck as an attending physician is going to result in $13,500 post-tax take-home. In this situation, you're going to have a difference of about $10,000, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to take 10% of this monthly change and you're going to take a moderate Diderot effect and spend that $1,000 on whatever your heart desires. We know that this need psychologically is going to happen. We feel like we've worked hard to earn what we now have and we want to enjoy it. And so for me, that ended up being a monthly car payment towards a Chevrolet SS. It was a naturally aspirated V8 manual transmission sedan, and I also used some towards a golf club membership. So maybe you're not a car person though. Maybe you don't like golf. Maybe for you that means upgrading your lifestyle in other ways. Regardless, you take 10% of the increase and spend it on whatever you want. No strings attached. And you do the same whenever you receive a one-time lump sum of money too, from a bonus, inheritance, or something else. What do you do with the other 90%? Well, you use it to pay down debt, use it to save for other things, maybe like a down payment on a house, or you invest it towards your financial independence and that retirement that you're looking to have. Maybe you want to get ahead and you're in the financial independence retire early community and you have a goal to retire or be able to retire by the age of, let's say, 50 or 55. you'd put extra money in the situation toward that goal. But this does beg a question. What is the order of operations for the 90% you're going to use to build wealth, to pay down debt, or invest? Enter here the cash flow waterfall. While there are many ways to get to your financial goals, following this waterfall takes the analysis paralysis out of working toward your financial goals. So simply working down this list and applying the 90% from any increases in pay, bonuses, or other non-steady sources of income, you can really get to your goals. So first, on this waterfall, we're going to make sure we have at least a small emergency fund. I suggest maybe $1,000. It's a common teaching in the personal finance space because it helps you build some financial muscles. Then we're going to make sure we are taking part in the only guaranteed 100% return on your money you're likely going to find, which for many of us is getting our match inside of our 401k or our 403b. You put $1 in, your employer puts $1 in too. Nowhere else in personal finance are you going to get immediate 100% return on your money. You should never skip this, though you should definitely check in to see what the vesting period is at your employer. In other words, how long do you need to keep working there in order to keep that match that they gave you? But regardless, you shouldn't skip this. At this point, if you're in training, you may have to stop. But what you do when you become an attending physician and that paycheck increases and you have more cash flow is you continue to work down this list by paying off high interest debt, creating a real 3 to 6 month emergency fund based on how much money you spend each month. And then for those wondering how to determine your annual savings goal, which is mentioned on this cash flow waterfall, when you get to that step, I discussed that in a video linked here, where you can also download a free calculator to help you determine your specific annual savings goal. The link is also in the description of this video, where you can determine how much you need to save each year to retire by the age that you want. So after my family paid off all of our high and medium interest debt, which for us included our student loans and auto payments, that is when the 10% rule became the 25% rule. And if I'm being honest, it eventually became the 50% rule too, where we now take any bonuses or additional money we receive and we spend 50% of it on whatever we want, like trips or vacations. And we take the other 50% and put it towards our savings and investing goals according to the cash flow waterfall. In the cash flow waterfall, this happened for us after we achieved our annual savings goal because I didn't want to take all of my money and put it towards low interest debt. That just didn't make a lot of sense to me. So now we take 50%, put it towards our savings goal, and we honestly put 50% towards whatever we want via the cash flow waterfall, and that 10% rule becoming a 50% rule that we now get to enjoy a little bit more. So now that you know how we paid off $200,000 of debt in 19 months, and you know about the 10% rule in the cash flow waterfall, I hope you liked this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And before you head out, don't forget that you can download a free copy of the Physician Philosopher's Guide to Personal Finance over at moneymeetsmedicine.com. Also, make sure to leave a comment below on how you plan on spending your 10%, 25%, or 50% rule. I will see you next time. Cheers.